or whatever to be his VP, some good choice that the Republicans think is a good choice. Let's say he has a great campaign structure. Let's say he's not this divisive asshole talking about his junk. How do we talk about his policies without laughing out loud? This is still the guy, because when we talk about presidential, we only talk about his tone, right? This is still the guy that still wants to build a wall, deport more than 11 million immigrants, ban Muslims, give nukes to countries, bring back waterboarding, kill families of terrorists, slash taxes on the richest people, overturn Obamacare, and start trade wars. I mean, how do we look at that?
Well, Igor, when you say it that way, it just sounds silly.
Yeah, I mean, really, you're in the tank. I mean, but look, those are all the things he said, and he's the guy who won. I don't think you can just kind of wipe those off the table, because I mean, he won.
Mitt Romney won too before he got lambasted in the general election. I mean, just because you win over some Republicans doesn't really you won over, let's say, half of the 23% that are registered Republicans. That still leaves 77% of the country who think you're a fucking nut job.
Well, possibly, but I mean, if you take a look at the percentage of the country who thinks immigration is fucked up, and they're willing to support Trump because he's sides with them. He believes what they believe. If you take the percentage of the country who believes that these disastrous trade agreements were in fact disastrous, they're probably of the mind that I doubt Trump is going to start with a 200% tariff on all foreign goods on day one. But he's saying what they believe, and I think that's a very powerful message, particularly if you
what they believe is fucking crazy.
Yeah, but that isn't what people are doing. They're voting for him. I don't hear lots of people.
A small part of the country is voting for him.
Here's what I think he'll have to do. He'll have to either piss off the passionate base that he's built by middling those proposals into at least lies that sound near believable. Or if he's able to, again, do that thing where he's able to flip-flop on an issue on stage, like in front of people's eyes, and then still win. If he's able to still pull that off, that might be problematic, But I do also think that one of the skills that Clinton does seem to be able to have, and she used it to some degree of effectiveness against Sanders in New York, or at least in the debate leading up to New York, was the way that she is able to sort of pick at those policies in such a way that it exposes the nonsense of it. And whether that would end up being effective or not, I honestly couldn't tell you. Because, again, when Trump speaks, that people hear things. The thing that people said to me the most at Trump rallies when I asked them, why are you supporting Trump? They said it's because he's honest. And I would just look at them, just stunned. And I think what it means is that he says racist shit racistly instead of, like, encoded language. But, if people are still able to accept the fact that, he's like, yes, I feel like the federal government should be involved in healthcare and housing. Oh, well, what I mean by that is that they should be involved by not being involved. If he's able to pull that off in the general, yeah, it might be, like I said, blue states might turn red, purple states will go red. It might get tricky.
A lot of people are not voting on policies like this. They're not out there, saying, I wonder exactly how that opinion on Glass-Steagall will actually work. I mean, this is the pundit kind of thing.
No, they're voting on the wall and the Muslims and stuff like that.
A lot of people are voting emotionally.
What passes for policy in a Trump campaign. So they are voting for policy. It's just, as Igor said, an insane policy.
Well, such as it is. But, I mean, it's the classic idea of who would you rather have a beer with kind of question. I mean, those are the emotional things. Well, I hope both of them would go away. I would never want to be drunk around either of those people. Could you imagine sitting at the table with two of them and wondering who the fuck's hand that was on your thigh? But that's not the point. The point is that we're all right. No, the point is that people vote, make choices emotionally. And this idea that everyone's out there, all these voters are out there parsing politics parsing theories and, reading the 700 pages on Hillary's website about tax reforms or something. I mean, that simply is not true. There's going to be a lot of gut reaction type people, and Trump is good at pulling them in.